Now, we're always searching worldwide, throughout the planet, for the best dog videos we can find. Why? We love dogs here, that's why. And most of you do too. And so we need to bring things down a little bit before I bring them up. So take a look at this. This is Bobbie the Wonder Dog. Go.
This is a 1924 silent film called The Call of the West. The leading man plays himself. He didn't win an Oscar, but his name and story became world famous. The star of the film? A dog from Silverton, Oregon, named Bobbie.
So we're walking in front of what originally was, back in the 1920s, the restaurant owned by Bobbie's owners.
That's correct.
Gus Frederick is the local historian in Silverton. In the early 1920s, the Brazier family owned the Real Lunch Restaurant, a local cafe. Bobbie was their beloved Scotch collie.
They had relatives back in Wolcott, Indiana, and decided to go back and visit.
In August 1923, the Brazier family loaded up their car for the 2,500-mile trip to Wolcott. Bobbie came along, perched on the luggage, taking in the sights and smells as they traveled thousands of miles across country. But at a gas station in Wolcott, Indiana, there was trouble.
And while they were there, getting ready to leave, apparently he ran off, was chased by some local dogs.
His desperate owners searched the town for days. Posters were put up, notices put in the newspaper, but Bobbie couldn't be found. Heartbroken, the Brazier family made the journey back home to Oregon. Bobbie was gone. Or was he? On a February day in 1924, 6 months after Bobbie disappeared, one of the Brazier daughters stepped out of the cafe and saw a miraculous sight coming down Main Street.
Wasn't moving very fast, all matted up, but once they got closer, they could determine, yes, it was Bobbie.
Against all odds, Bobbie had traveled more than 2,500 miles back home to Silverton, crossing the Rockies, the Great Continental Divide, the Cascades, all in the dead of winter, exhausted and battered from his incredible journey. Eyewitness accounts stored at the Oregon Historical Society document the emotional reunion.
We have a handwritten letter here from Bobbie's owners where he, in his own words, describes what happened. They fed him a sirloin, a big bowl of cream, and he didn't move for 3 days.
News of Bobbie's journey quickly spread from Silverton to across the country to around the world.
Yeah, we have this huge box which is just full of letters that came in from across the country to Bobbie and Bobbie's owners.
He became known as Bobbie the Wonder Dog, and his story touched thousands of people.
Here's a man from Australia.
My gosh.
Who wrote, so, sent you a box of wildflowers for Bob. There's a telegram from Western Union enclosing 10 cents for a picture of Bobbie the Wonder Dog. A letter from somebody in Colorado. A letter from somebody in Ohio. They just go on. Michigan, they go on and on and on. It was in, as you know, Jeff Ripley's Believe It or Not, which of course was a huge national thing back then, is in almost every paper in the country.
Within 3 months of Bobbie's journey home, he starred in the silent film, The Call of the West.
Bobbie plays himself. It was a tough assignment.
Like a true celebrity, Bobbie made appearances, including the Portland Home Show, where 40,000 people came to see him. He was presented with a fancy doghouse called Bobbie's Castle. Bobbie went on to sire a litter of pups, 15 boys, proving he was a wonder dog. In 1927, 3 years after his incredible journey, Bobbie died. Newspapers around the world noted his passing.
Something marvelous drowsed in Bobbie's brain and roused to his need and guided him on the long trail as surely as Polaris guides the mariner.
Bobbie was buried with honors at the Oregon Humane Society Pet Cemetery in the doghouse he had been given the year before. Rin Tin Tin, the famous movie star dog of the era, traveled to Oregon to lay a wreath at Bobbie's grave.
It's such a wonderful Oregon story. Again, I can't think of any other story that really demonstrates this incredible bond we have with animals.
In Bobbie's hometown of Silverton, Bobbie's journey is remembered and cherished with a giant mural.
And kind of shows graphically through images throughout the whole wall here, Bobbie's trail and the story, reproduction of the Ripley's Believe It or Not panel.
You'll also find a replica of Bobbie's doghouse, along with a statue. Each year, the town pays tribute to Bobbie with their annual pet parade.
And his son, Pal, became the Grand Marshal of the very first Silverton Pet Parade in 1932.
It is said that a dog is the only thing on earth that loves you more than he loves himself. The story of Bobbie the Wonder Dog reminds us, no matter the odds or hardships, when you feel abandoned and all alone, love and loyalty will always guide you back home.
That is amazing. It is amazing how a dog would travel across the country and find his home. I mean, obviously, you can't sniff your way 2,500 miles. It's just shocking. And yet he did. And I don't think we'll ever know how. Now, you've had stories that are also remarkable where dogs have been gone for a couple of years, hundreds of miles away. That has always amazed me too, but 2,500 miles, that's one end of the country to the other, basically. That's absolutely incredible.
For all this and much more, sign up for Levin TV.